What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So I have to give shout out to BitBoy for that intro. How many times did you seriously rewatch that thing? I must have watched that like 10 times. Anyway, thank you so much for coming back to the channel, guys. Today is Tuesday. If we have a look at what's going on today, we're seeing a very mild pullback in Bitcoin. We still have around a $211, $212 billion market cap. Bitcoin dominance flat. And if we look at the biggest gainers of the day, now we have this coin, Ethereum, up again. I think it's gone up like 5,000% since the end of October, but the problem is that the volume is so low. It's only $25,000 worth of volume, which is very low, and it's very risky to get involved in. So I just wanted to point that out. But if we look at some of the other changes, we also have Nexo, Decentraland. Nem just had some good news that came out, actually. Basic Attention Token, Power Ledger, Chainlink, Komodo, Kryptonix, and Zcash, all doing quite well today. Now, guys, if you saw my video yesterday, a lot of people were kind of, concerned. What do you mean? We're definitely in a bear market. Really, the only thing I was trying to point out was we had a $200 billion market cap exactly 1 year ago, whereas today we had a $213 billion market cap at the time of making the video. So I was just pointing out that we're technically up from a year ago. That's pretty much all. But guys, I'm going to get off the topic of price today because we have been talking about price a lot. There's actually been a lot going on in the space. So today, for example, hacked, right? So we have yet another Twitter account falling victim to a Bitcoin scam. This time it was Target. So you can see this is it right here. We're giving away 5,000 Bitcoin. And of course, send us a little bit of Bitcoin to this account and we'll give you a little bit back, right? So there you guys go. Obviously, you know better than to get involved in this, but anyone new watching the channel, if anybody, especially Target, is claiming to be giving you away Bitcoin and you got to give them Bitcoin first, don't do it. It's a scam. Okay, so we do have confirmation on the Great Lakes Science Center, which is a major museum and educational center in Cleveland, Ohio. They are now accepting Bitcoin as payment. So we had that kind of teaser, right? Somebody was taking a screenshot of their television. Well, it looks like it's official. So this actually makes them the third museum to accept cryptocurrency after the Museum of the Coastal Bend in Texas and St. Petersburg Museum of History in Florida. So that's pretty good news as well. Now, guys, before we move on, I do want to let you know, because I know a lot of you use Binance, they are doing a system upgrade on the 14th of November. Be prepared for this. So if you're concerned about, oh no, I need my tokens, I'm going to want to trade, then your best bet is to definitely get them off the exchange now, or just realize that you're going to be down for a while and you're not going to be able to trade. So they're saying that this is happening. It could be for up to 8 hours. On the 14th of November. So it says all deposits and withdrawals and trading will be suspended during the upgrade. They also want to advise its users that the 8-hour time frame is an estimate, but they will be in constant communication. Now, knowing Binance, I could see it taking like a half hour. And then people are like, yeah, Binance, you're amazing. You said 8 hours. Binance has really good marketing like that. They tend to underpromise and overdeliver, which I do respect about them, but I just wanted to let you guys know. Moving on, we also have Bitcoin ABC 600% more nodes than Bitcoin SV. So we were seeing that Bitcoin SV was beginning to kind of, take some of the hash rate, while there's 600% more nodes for Bitcoin ABC. But as we've discussed, guys, these guys are going to go to whatever's the more profitable chain. So if Bitcoin SV is more profitable, they're not really going to care if it's Satoshi's vision or if it's Roger Vere's vision or whoever's vision. They're just going to go to where the money's at. So keep that in mind. But the one thing I found pretty interesting today in this article is that Bitmain co-founder Jihan Wu no longer has influence over the company's decision-making process after an executive board reshuffle. So I was wondering why they did this. Did he decide to step down on his own, or was he voted down? That wasn't really made clear to me, but it does say that Wu's position went from director to supervisor, which leaves him unable to vote in board decisions. After changing to supervisor, there's no voting right, so one's power is smaller and one cannot participate in the business decision making of the enterprise. Here you can see him between the Winklevoss twins. So I do wonder why they did this, So they say down here that they're currently going through a significant metamorphosis as the company plans to begin their IPO. And it says that the other thing is that this board stunt appeared to be timed exactly with the release of the company's latest Bitcoin miner, the Antminer S15. So I guess that's a good thing. He's sort of giving the power back to the rest of the board. It might, like they said, it could just be a publicity stunt for the IPO. You know, nobody wants to invest in something, I guess, where you got this one dude controlling everything, right? But you know, you guys can kind of take that news with how you feel, but that's what's going on. Basically, he stepped down. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, as usual, because we always have to be careful with these crypto jackings that happen all the time. Okay, so we have another one now. If you guys aren't familiar with what crypto jacking is, it's an illegal process in which hackers can hijack a user's computing power to mine for cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Monero. Funds are then sent back to the hacker in control of the software. So we actually had McAfee Labs researchers now discovered another Russian cryptojacking malware known as WebCobra. So it infects a victim's computer by silently dropping and installing the Kryptonite miner or Claymore Zcash miner, depending on the architecture WebCobra finds. McAfee researchers believe the threat arrives via rogue pup installers and have observed it across the globe, with the highest number of infections occurring in Brazil, South Africa, and the US. Then they go on to say that what is particularly interesting about WebCobra is that it learns everything possible about the user's system, like what kind of architecture they are running, if there is antivirus technology, etc. So it's kind of like a self-evolving, almost like survival of the fittest Darwinism type malware. So basically, why am I bringing this up? Well, obviously, if you're involved in cryptocurrencies can be a dangerous place. There's a lot of different phishing links. So just be careful the things that you click on, the information that you give out, and definitely don't download anything from shady people that doesn't have a verified certificate. You know, there's usually a little green or sometimes it's a blue lock up in the corner. Make sure that that's always there, guys. Always be safe. And I wanted to also talk about this. So this is, of course, going to create some controversy, but I have to bring it because this did happen. So, you know, we've had some issues with EOS recently. Some people were upset. They gave him a lot of flack for what happened back in June when you basically had members able to freeze funds on EOS. So now, once again, they're in the spotlight after the project recently posted the ruling from a dispute in which a user's account credentials had been stolen in a phishing attack. There you guys go. Be careful the links that you click on, right? And in the report, the arbitrator ruled to reverse the account back to the original owner. So here you go right here, the line of the newly posted arbitration ruling report on the EOS blockchain reads, under the power afforded to me as arbitrator, under Article 6 of the Rules of Dispute Resolution, I, Ben Gates, rule that EOS account in dispute should be returned to claimant with immediate effect and that the freeze over the assets within said account is removed. So there you go. They have the ability to reverse the stolen account. So some people are saying that this is just making it more centralized. Now, we've seen a lot of projects in the past that a lot of people have complained about. You know, Neos still to this day gets a lot of flack for being too centralized. So this is just something to take in note. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? I mean, for a $4 billion ICO and, you know, you would think at this point, we already have centralized things. They work well. We have phones, we have Google, we have Amazon, you know, we have Snapchat, right? I think for something that was kind of promised to be so decentralized, and then you kind of have Dan Larimer coming out recently being like, yeah, we're not really that decentralized. It felt a little bit misleading, but you know, don't kill the messenger, guys. I'm just reporting the news. Now, I also wanted to talk about, we had that gossip that was coming out about Swift joining Ripple. We know that that got squashed. That was a rumor completely. You also had Brad Garlinghouse, though, the CEO of Ripple. He came out and he actually joined in and said, yes, they are strictly rumors. There's a lot of rumors, and I'm hesitant to comment on any rumor because if you comment on the false rumor, then you have to comment on the true rumor, and so you just have to avoid them all. But the part that I really liked was when he said, I think we're doing and executing on a day-to-day basis. I think what we're doing is in fact taking over Swift in that we've now signed up with well over 100 banks. Some of the largest Swift-enabled banks in the world are now using Ripple's technology. So pretty much he was just like, why would we partner with them when we're clearly better than them and we're going to take over what they're doing? So it's kind of like a cocky response, but not only did he squash the rumor, but he also kind of gave a lot of hope for, you know, people invested in Ripple and XRP as well. I also want to talk about Waves platform. Waves has definitely been making waves. Okay, but seriously, smart assets allow Waves users to apply scripts to tokens in much the same way that they can already apply them to accounts. Whenever a transaction for the smart asset is created, it's validated by the script before being confirmed by the blockchain. So, smart contracts, smart assets, right? So these are on the testnet currently. So what are some of the features? Well, you can have asset freezing. Seems like we're going in circles here with the news today. Asset freezing, whitelisting, blacklisting, taxation, more taxation in the instance that the asset issuer receives a fee with every transaction, multi-sig, and also controlling asset pairs as well. So they go into some potential use cases. One that I thought was a really easy to understand one is it would be possible, for example, for a gamer to create an asset that can only be owned by a player with certain attributes. You know, for example, a sword that can only be used when a certain skill level is reached. Okay, so that's basically what's been going on with waves. Now, also, I wanted to talk about this video that came out. Because of the let me mute it. Centralization and the hope. So this is from Brendan Ike. You know, so he basically, long story short, I watched this and it was really, really interesting because not only did he talk about the evolution of Mozilla and how he got interested in Bitcoin and everything, but he goes on to talk about a privacy by default era, which basically means that you start with privacy at the core. He speaks about originally they were concerned about things like cookies that were kind of tracing you for websites and stuff like that, but now it really is these advertisements that are targeting you. I mean, you know, you're having a cup of coffee, you know, with a friend, talking about buying a mattress or something, and then all of a sudden you go start scrolling through your phone and you're getting ads for mattresses. Like, that's a little invasive, you know? So I really think you guys should check this video out. It's really, really, really cool. I mean, I've had people even on the channel be like, oh, I hate the ads on YouTube videos. Guys, I'm a registered Brave publisher. So like, you can watch my videos on Brave browser completely ad-free, and it'll still help out the channel. So that's the really cool thing about Brave as well. So definitely check this out, look into it. It really breaks down how even, the thing that I actually found most intriguing about this video is the fact that the advertisers are actually on board with this. Like, you would think that the guys doing the ads, they're all against this, you know? They're like, no, we don't like this. They're not gonna see the ads, but they're saying no, because what it's gonna do is it's gonna push out a lot of this garbage, a lot of these crap, spam, you know, just garbage ads. So definitely check it out. Pretty cool video. Also, moving on, I wanted to talk about what Blocko is recently doing. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. They're the Samsung-backed commercial blockchain provider, and they're also using AERGO as a platform to offer new solutions as well, which you guys know I'm a pretty big fan of AERGO. So check this out. Blocko, AERGO's strategic technology partner that builds the AERGO platform, announced that it would provide a blockchain-based distributed storage platform to reconnect real estate registries to the government network data with a blockchain ledger for the Korean Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, and Transport. So the project will solve the vulnerabilities of paper certificates that can easily be forged and will provide the foundation for real-time sharing of real estate inquiries and information by connecting all agencies that need to use real estate information, such as local governments and financial institutions in Korea together on a distributed network. The final target is to expand the scope of utilization of the platform to more participating entities, including lawyers, certified real estate brokers, to build integrated and reliable transaction services from financial deals, contracts, and property registrations. So this is really awesome. In fact, I had a conversation with Steve from Hack Crypto, which we'll get into later, and we were talking about the evolution of ICOs and these reverse ICOs, where basically you have companies that already have existing framework, existing customers, and existing business, and then they just tokenize an open source division of their, you know, company essentially. And this is like what Blocko is doing. So I think that's really awesome that they're getting involved like that with the government and stuff. Really, really great. Also wanted to talk about the Bithumb DEX app finally getting launched on the Apple Store. The version for iOS is released today, while that for Android has been around for a little bit, but check it out. Let me know what you guys think. Obviously, there's a lot of DEXs. In fact, I recently was looking at Ethershift because, as you know, as a New York citizen, I can't use Shapeshift, right? It just literally says censored. And then some people don't want to use Changely because you still have to go through the KYC process. They have to know who's using it. So this one is actually completely free as of now. You know, who knows what will happen in the future. So basically, you know, you have a selection. It's not really a huge selection of ERC20s right now. But if you want, it's really simple. You just pick, like, say I have Bancor and I want to get Holo, and then that's it. And then you just send the Bancor to this address, and then you get this, and then that's it. So basically you can, yeah, do an instant transaction. Now, guys, I also wanted to talk about this. Again, I have to bring this up. I made the video on Initiative Q. A lot of people have been talking about it. Some people have their opinions on it. I had my opinion on it. I clearly stated it was an opinion. It's not for me. I'm not interested in it personally. But I wanted to bring this up for just a quick second for anybody that seems to have certain opinions on Initiative Q. This was brought up in this article. 3 million people are at risk of a high-tech scam. So Q tokens are rewarded to users for registering with the firm and conducting mini tasks such as inviting your friends. According to the Howey test, any offering of this kind where a user is conducting such a transaction, even if it's not a monetary transaction, is considered a security. The user is still submitting their information in exchange for the promise of tokens, but must rely on Initiative Q to actually give the tokens. The payment network is centralized, not decentralized, which disqualifies Initiative Q from being called a true cryptocurrency, which they're very open about, and thus should be subject to SEC securities regulations. But there's no evidence to suggest that Initiative Q has even registered with the SEC. That's the issue. That's a huge issue. I completely forgot to bring that up, guys. I mean, if you saw my video that I did on Initiative Q the other day, I'll definitely drop it in the links below. This was my opinion on it. You know, I had my own views on why, but this article goes into actually breaking down the fact that, you know, a lot of people were saying, well, they're not asking for your money. All right, so maybe it's not a Ponzi, but you're still getting unregistered securities unless they have registered, which nowhere on the site does it say that they have. So I just wanted to point that out, guys, as well. It's just something to keep in mind moving forward. But, you know, everyone's going to have their own opinion on it. Obviously, everyone wants to get rich quick overnight, so it's the next best thing since sliced bread. But, you know, let's look at this very, you know, objectively for a second here. So also wanted to move on. We were talking about with, you know, Blocko and what they're doing with registries. Well, let's talk about actually tokenizing real estate itself. So you have a blockchain startup that's partnered with a broker dealer. So you have Fluidity and Propeller are going to offer tokens representing shares in a multi-million-dollar block of condos in Manhattan, New York, allowing buyers to invest as much or as little as they want. So you have Michael Ove, the co-founder of blockchain firm Fluidity, believes blockchain and smart contract technology could completely revolutionize the very concept of investing in real estate. He says, when we started to look at the real estate industry, it's probably one of the most inefficient industries that exist currently. A lot of middlemen, a lot of lawyers, and a lot of bankers. So by tokenizing the sale of property, those behind the idea also believe that they will be able to start repaying the loan that allowed for its construction earlier. One of them said, we have a bank deadline on us where we have to sell a certain amount of units or repay the entire loan by a certain date. If construction has been delayed, if the market turns, if competition pops up, and we're not going to be able to hit that deadline, what do you do? So by tokenizing the debt, it gives everyone breathing room to sell at a normal pace with the market instead of going against it. The other thing I was kind of wondering, though, is if you tokenize real estate, do you get a percentage? Like, I would assume that's the purpose of doing it, right? Like, say you have, you know, offices being rented out, and you have, whatever, 1 million tokens, and say you have like 100 people that, you know, maybe not equally, but they all own these tokens. So as all the offices are paying their rent for the month, is that like distributed equally among all the holders? Because that's a really cool idea. That could really, really, really change the future. You know, we could all own portions of a house, and then someone could like live in it, and then we would all get portions of the rent. That's really cool. So just wanted to kind of bring that up, guys. And then also kind of in positive news, you have the IMF says that they're continuing to devote attention to blockchain and cryptocurrency. So this was on a panel actually with CEO Brad Garlinghouse, again from Ripple. So you have Deputy General Counsel Ross Lacow. Looks like he said the IMF is devoting a lot of attention to fintech and blockchain. We think it's difficult to talk about blockchain without considering it in light of other new technologies that are forming part of the fintech debate. He says other industries as well include AI, distributed ledger, crypto assets, and several others. But on the flip side, here's the thing that kind of caught me off guard. So you see over here, it says the sovereign, the SOV, which is the national currency of the Marshall Islands, or they're trying to get it to be, is still far from the markets because it has IMF disapproval. So then don't forget, in September, the IMF issued a report on the country containing a discouraging statement about the fate of the SOV digital currency. Side note, I like SOV because it's like store of value. I don't think they did that intentionally though, but it's pretty cool. See, because here you see over here, it says, in a vote of no confidence against the president of the Marshall Islands, Hilda Hein, she's narrowly avoided losing her power. So it looks like she survived a vote of no confidence by the skin of her teeth. The 67-year-old Marshall Islands leader split the domestic parliament right down the middle as they voted 16 in favor of toppling her and 16 against. The main issue in the division of the Marshall Islands parliament is the plan to launch their digital currency, the sovereign. So it's interesting. I don't understand. Like, they're trying to be forward on it, but the IMF is going against it on the Marshall Islands. They think it'll tarnish the look or tarnish the brand. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Talk to Malta. Seems to be working for them. So let's move on. So cryptocurrencies will not replace or disrupt fiat systems. And this is brought to you by the, People's Bank of China. So we're going to skip this one. Moving on. So this is an interesting article from Nick Carter. No, not the Backstreet Boy, the other Nick Carter, okay? The partner at Castle Island Ventures and co-founder of Coinmetrics. He found that comparing Bitcoin to other cryptocurrencies and centralized systems like PayPal based on transactions per second is inaccurate. Clearly, like the picture says, it's like apples to oranges. So what is he saying? Well, this was an interesting thing because yesterday we were looking at what Richard Hart was saying about how you look at the total market cap of gold. No one's using gold. It's a store of value. But yet if you compare that to the overall cap of things like PayPal or stuff like that, it's much lower. So you could see right here, he points out that maybe Bitcoin isn't set to disrupt these micro payments. He goes on to talk about physical cash, Visa, debit cards, credit cards, and then you can start seeing here you have Ripple, Ethereum, and Bitcoin is way, 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 way down on the end. So the thing is like Bitcoin may not be good for day-to-day payments without the Lightning Network, but if you think about purchasing a home or sending money abroad or something like that, well, then in that case, Bitcoin has its purpose. So interesting article. Kind of check it out, guys. I mean, it goes, then some people will be like, well, why don't you just use Nano, right? Well, they do, actually. They're using it in Venezuela right now, along with Dash. But it's an interesting article. Definitely give it a look, guys. Also, just kind of hilarious before we get out of here. Poloniex is now requiring 2,000 confirmations for Bytecoin transactions. So this guy basically sent in a thing. He was concerned. He sent in a ticket to the support, and they wrote back and said, "Hey, Paul, thanks for reaching out. The minimum confirmations for BCN has increased temporarily to 2,000 due to network instability. As a result, BCN deposits may take longer than usual." And as of the time of writing this, it was still going. He said he only had 894 out of 2,000 confirmations, and it looks like it's a 3.5 day deposit. So that's going to really suck moving forward. And if that doesn't make you guys smile before you go, apparently, according to whoever took this random shot of the TV, it says that women are more likely to use a cryptocurrency for money transfer. This is according to CP24. Is that true? Are women more likely to use crypto for money transfer? I have no idea. That's pretty vague statistic. And guys, if you didn't have a chance to check this out, I did a interview actually. For once, I was the one being interviewed over at Hack Crypto. So this is Steve, and we basically were talking about what makes a great project. So he kind of asked me like, what do I look at fundamentally when I'm looking into projects? How do I decide which ones I want to invest in, etc. And it has changed. Back in the day, a lot of it was based on the team. And, now it's almost like if they don't have an MVP, So definitely check that out if you guys are interested. It was a fun interview. It was fun being the one being interviewed for a change. So I'll drop a link to that. That's over at the Hack Crypto YouTube channel. And also, guys, I just wanted to let you know, as promised, people have been asking me, where's our Digitex review? You guys know that won the Twitter poll. Obviously, if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, I do polls all the time at the Crypto Zombie. So what I did was I was going to make a review, but I actually reached out to the team and I was able to get a hold of the CEO, Adam Todd. So we're actually doing an interview this afternoon, actually just after I put this news video out, and then hopefully I can have that out to you guys later tonight. So I figured it'd be even better than a review, because instead of me just pointing and going, hey, this is what they're doing, I can actually ask Todd the tough questions. And yeah, so I just thought that was really cool. So expect that. That is coming out later on tonight, maybe like, after around dinner time or something like that. So that being said, I want to say thank you so much to everybody for coming back to the channel. Today is Tuesday. Really freaking appreciate it. Everyone that's been smashing the like button, hitting subscribe, dropping your comments below, joining the Crypto Zombies Telegram group. Really enjoy seeing new faces in there. And that being said, guys, I want to say thank you so much for coming back to the channel. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.